Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to part 3 of the plot leak discussion I had with the Dawn of Ice and Fire. I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. By having Dawn on the channel, this should give you guys a different perspective on these leaks and help you see things from a different angle. I appreciate those of you that have taken the time to watch these and those of you that have went and subscribed to a Dawn of Ice and Fire's channel. He released a new video today that you should definitely go and check out after you finish listening to this one. I will provide the link to his channel and to his new video down in the description. Now let's get things started. Okay, Jon and Davos arrive on Dragonstone and meet Tyrion on the beach. Tyrion brings them to meet Daenerys. Dany demands Jon to bend the knee, which he refuses. Jon instead tells her about the White Walker threat, but she doesn't believe him. Davos tries to tell her about Jon's resurrection, but Jon dismisses it. Tyrion steps in to say Jon's a good guy and definitely not insane. Dany respects Jon immediately, although Jon doesn't return the sentiment. Jon meets Theon, who presumably meets with... that's a typo. It says Jon meets Theon, who presumably meets with Theon, and promises to spare his life for what he did helping Sansa escape. Arya encounters her old dire with Nymeria on the way to Winterfell. Jorah and Sam meet in Old Town and find a cure for grayscale. Then Bran arrives at Winterfell and Mira returns home to the Neck.
Okay, so let's start off from the beginning. So Jon and Davos arrive at Dragonstone. Dany rolls up on him, bend the knee, and Jon hits her with the,
hits her with the stiff arm.
Yeah, hits her with that wildling talk. We're not kneelers.
Yes, sir.
I'm from the north.
Like, you think he will refuse that?
Yeah, I could see him saying, "Hey, my people made me king in the north. I'm not just gonna kneel to you right now."
I agree. I don't see him bending his knee ever again.
Yeah, so now what's the one thing that kind of got me a little bit, the part where it's like Davos tries to tell Dany about Jon's resurrection and Jon dismisses it. I'm like, why would Jon dismiss the part about his resurrection? I think maybe that's a typo and they meant to say that Dany dismisses it, because that's the only thing that kind of makes sense, because even though Dany herself has, become a walking miracle, I think that because of the fact that she lost her husband the way that she did, that she will probably be very skeptical of a guy who supposedly died and came back and is pretty normal.
Yeah, I agree. That's a very good point.
And Jon not respecting Dany.
That doesn't really seem like Jon's character to not respect somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that seems a little out of place for him. I mean, because it's like, all right, so Tyrion convinces Dany that Jon is telling the truth, and then Dany respects Jon, but then Jon doesn't respect Dany.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for a few reasons. One, she's got 3 big ass dragons. 2, she currently controls she currently controls Dragonstone, the Reach, parts of the Iron Islands, and Dorne, which means she's got almost as much of the realm as Jon does, having the North.
She still has Marine too.
This is true, even though I thought she left ruling council that's supposed to pick a new ruler or something like that in free elections. But
yeah, it could be. It could be something like that, but I just kind of figured with her leaving Daria behind, it was still kind of, if she wanted to go back and rule, it was still hers for the taking.
I mean, I can definitely see that, and plus it is called the Bay of Dragons.
Absolutely. But yeah, we can move forward past that. I just wanted to mention that real quick. But you're probably right that they'll probably set up their own little government there.
Yeah, man. So I'm trying to think what else do we have there. So John is trying to parlay for the dragon glass, right? And I think I actually missed that from the last episode. Um, so it makes sense about trying to parlay for the dragon glass.
Yeah, he definitely knows he left it at Hard Home, so he knows he needs some desperately.
Well, the question is then, what is going to be the trade off? Because yeah, even though Stannis was the guy who ruled there, remember that it is the ancestral seat of the Targaryens, and none of these people know anything about Jon's roots at this point. So if he's coming to her island at her behest, she's like bend the knee. He's like, no, I just came here for the dragon glass and then I'm out. It's like, all right, well, look, first off, I don't even believe in your damn White Walkers. And second, all right, even if I did, you're asking me if you can just snatch up this dragon glass from here. Well, what am I getting in return for you getting all of this dragon glass that you supposedly need to fight a war?
Yeah, that's true. She may want something in return.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, if John is not going to bend the knee, then the question must be asked, what is he willing to offer her in order to obtain that dragon glass?
Yeah, I think this is probably where Tyrion is going to come into play a lot and kind of help negotiate terms on getting Dany to help Jon and have Jon, help her in some way as well.
That is very interesting and very plausible.
What do you think about Jon meeting Theon on the beach? We have seen the spoiler photo that shows those two on the beach. How do you think that's going to go down? What do you think Jon's going to say to him?
Um, I mean, well, we've already seen him choking Theon.
Yes.
So I mean, that's going to be interesting just in terms of, we have John, who's probably going to see Theon, if not necessarily by chance, but it won't. I don't think it'll be a set meeting, where it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, Theon, John, you guys haven't seen each other in a while. You want to talk this all out. I think it's going to be one of those. John is walking along the beach and then just happens to spot Theon kind of things.
Yeah, and I think at this point Theon's going to be kind of under duress because he was just attacked. His sister was just kidnapped. He's probably rushing back to Dragonstone, kind of like in a panic, looking for Dany. Like, hey, we need some help. We were just taken out at sea.
Right. So I don't know. Like I said, I just think it's going to be one of those kind of chance encounters, and then when he actually sees him, it's going to be something.
What do you think about Arya encountering her old direwolf Nymeria on the way to Winterfell? Do you think we could see Nymeria again?
I think it is very possible that we could see Nymeria again, but then we have to think about the question: like, is there a countdown clock wrapped around Nymeria's neck? Because we've seen what Dan and Dave have been doing with the dire wolves, and it's like, come on, dudes, seriously, man. Like, can we get any freaking joy right now, or are you just gonna, slay all the dire wolves so you can save a little bit of money for the dragons?
Right, right.
Yeah,
And that's one thing that's kind of bothered me too, man, because the direwolves are such a like integral part of the Starks, and for them to barely be in the show, and even when some of them are still alive, they're just never with their owner. It's kind of I've never liked that.
yeah, and we're gonna have to see what they do as far as the Nymeria thing, because really Nymeria was supposed to be a big part of Arya's story with her warging in the books. That was kind of how she figured out that she could warg, even though she didn't fully understand it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they gave her absolutely none of the warging story at all. And in fact, in the show, pretty much the only one who can do any kind of warging is Bran. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, just strip all the Starks of their powers.
Yeah, why do you think they did that? Like, I don't understand why they think the audience isn't smart enough to be able to distinguish the two characters.
Um, Honestly speaking, I think it may have had to do with budgeting issues and also trying to streamline the story. So it's like we're gonna give each of the Stark children their own special ability or their own particular thing. So it's like Bran is the magic Stark, right? He's the one with all of the actual magical powers. Arya, they made it so that she doesn't have any magical powers on her own, but she was still able to learn some tricks from the Faceless Men.
Yep.
John, he's the guy who's always trying to do the right thing. He wound up getting killed by the Night's Watch, but it was someone else's magical power that brought him back, and now everyone knows that he's the chosen one. Rob and Rickon, on the other hand, unfortunately, uh, they didn't really give them anything. I mean, Rob, they gave him the uh, the appearance of being a good king, but he made way too many fuck ups, and that's how the Red Wedding happened.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man.
And Rickon, oh my god, they didn't do a damn thing with Rickon
Yeah, that was
whatsoever.
pretty disappointing to have a Stark just like be thrown to the wayside like that.
Right, and then last but not least, the only one that has that didn't have a dire wolf for any real length of time was Sansa. They killed off her dire wolf in season one, and she's basically been nothing but a puppet this entire time. And I'm hoping that we actually get to see a more well-rounded Sansa. I mean, like we got a glimpse of it at the end of Battle of the Bastards when she killed Ramsay. We got another glimpse when she threatened Littlefinger earlier in the season. But other than that, there was a lot to be desired with Sansa. So hopefully they actually do something powerful with her character.
Yeah, I think in season 7 we're definitely going to start seeing a lot more of that change. At least I hope so, just for the sake of her character.
Right. We need Sansa to be redeemed.
Absolutely, definitely. Okay, so this next little part in this episode, it says Jorah and Sam meet in Old Town and find a cure for grayscale. Now, from the spoiler photos, we do know for a fact that Jorah meets up with Dany again, and I've always assumed that that meant he did get his grayscale cured because she told him, don't return to me until you get yourself cured.
Right. So, the thing that I'm wondering now is like, how does Sam find that out about the
Yeah,
grayscale?
that's what I was going to say. How are they going to explain this? What's the cure?
Right. I mean, not only what is the cure, I mean, that's if they decide to tell us about what the cure is, because it could just be a thing where, oh, I read something in an old book, and then the next thing you know, Jorah is cured, and we don't actually get a particular remedy for how to cure grayscale, because grayscale in the books is a lot more detailed. Between Shireen having grayscale and John Connaughton contracting grayscale, like grayscale is a big thing, definitely in Essos. So it's the big point of contention. Like, well, uh, how do you wind up trying to cure these people with grayscale instead of living, having them live in was the sorrows? Yeah, instead of having them live out in the sorrows with the rest of the stone men. So it's gonna be interesting just to see how they're going to say that Jorah was cured, and is he still gonna have like the flaky grayscale arm the way Shireen had on her face?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if that's going to be permanently there as well. There's actually been something going around that said Sam cures it using dragon glass, which I really don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, well, here's the thing, right? Dragon Glass curing grayscale. I don't think it's going to be a thing of him necessarily just plunging Dragon Glass into his arm and, oh, wow, now I'm cured of grayscale.
No, no way.
Probably, yeah, probably something about breaking up the Dragon Glass and, heating it up or boiling it in some water and then making a
Drinking
bandage
it.
out. Or no, I was going to say maybe making a bandage out of it and putting it on the affected area. You
Yeah,
know,
that's possible. Or I thought you was actually going to say like brew it some way.
oh no, I was saying like breaking it up into like a powder and then maybe boiling it or like with some other kind of herb or something and then making it almost like a salve or a paste.
Yeah, I was going to say a paste or something and rub it in, kind of like some ointment.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, we know pretty much anything related to the dragons has all these different like magical properties. So, if they explained it, I could buy it.
True indeed, true indeed. So what do we got next as part of this episode, or was that everything for this?
It just said that Bran arrives in Winterfell and Mira returns home to the Neck.
Um, yeah, I mean, if anything, that could probably be one of those kind of bookend scenes where it just, shows Bran arriving at the door and then maybe Mirror like traveling the King's Road or something like that.
Do you think that could be what Sansa is seeing in that official photo that HBO released, where it looks like she's out in the Godswood and she kind of has a surprised or shocked look on her face? Like it's very subtle.
It could be. I mean, because at this point, I think the only people that know supposedly know that Bran was alive were John and Sam.
Right.
So yeah, other than that, everyone else thinks that Bran is dead. So imagine he shows up, and remember, Sansa hasn't seen him in years.
Well, Theon did say that he didn't kill them, so she knows that Theon didn't kill him, but that doesn't mean he survived, this entire time either.
Correct, and
From
and plus you got to think about it. Uh, the last, I mean, I don't know if she knows that he was supposedly went north of the wall, right? So for all she knows is just that Bran and Rickon got split up, and no one's seen Bran ever since.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows he went north of the wall. He had that chance to have a reunion with Jon at Craster's Keep, but he ended up leaving while Jon was still fighting. So I don't think anybody knows he's up there.
Unless Osha said something to the Umbers.
It's possible, I guess.
I still can't believe they had the Umbers betray the Starks.
Yeah, and what's sad is small John Umber, like he was such a great character. He was only in the show for a little time, but he had that like powerful look. He would have been an awesome character to actually be fighting with John from here on out.
Yeah. Oh well. Can't win them all.
Yep, absolutely right. Okay, let's move on to episode 4. All right, folks, that is the end of part 3. On behalf of A Dawn of Ice and Fire and I, we appreciate you for being here. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the conversation, and subscribe to both channels if you want to see more. As always, thank you for the support and your kind words. I will see you down in the comment section. Bye. Town and find a cure for grayscale. Then Bran arrives at Winterfell and Mira returns home to the Neck.
Okay, so let's start off from the beginning. So John and Davos arrive at Dragonstone. Danny rolls up on him, bend the knee, and John hits her with the,
Hits her with the stiff arm.
Yeah, hits her.
I will provide the link to his channel and to his new video down in the description. Now let's get things started. Okay, Jon and Davos arrive on Dragonstone and meet Tyrion on the beach. Tyrion brings them to meet Daenerys. Danny demands Jon to bend the knee, which he refuses. Jon instead tells her about the White Walker threat, but she doesn't believe him. Davos tries to tell her about Jon's resurrection, but Jon dismisses it. Tyrion steps in to say Jon's a good guy and definitely not insane. Danny respects Jon immediately, although Jon doesn't return the sentiment. Jon meets Theon, who presumably meets with... that's a typo. It says Jon meets Theon, who presumably meets with Theon, and promises to spare his life for what he did helping Sansa escape. Arya encounters her old direwolf Nymeria on the way to Winterfell. Jorah and Sam meet Nolan.
Hits her with that wildling talk. We're not kneelers.
Yes, sir.
I'm from the north.
Like, you think he will refuse that?
Yeah, I could see him saying, "Hey, my people made me king in the north. I'm not just gonna kneel to you right now."
I agree. I don't see him bending his knee ever again.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to part 3 of the plot leak discussion I had with the Dawn of Ice and Fire. I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. By having Dawn on the channel, this should give you guys a different perspective on these leaks and help you see things from a different angle. I appreciate those of you that have taken the time to watch these and those of you that have went and subscribed to a Dawn of Ice and Fire's channel. He released a new video today that you should definitely go and check out after you finish listening to this one.